Well, Michelin tyres have just released their new road tyre bicycle range, and they're called Power Cup, and that name comes from their motorbike tyre range. And they're claiming that their tyre is the fastest tyre, comparing some top-end market tyres like Victoria, Schwalbe, Continental and Victoria. And they've even grabbed some information. So let's roll our intro and let's have a bit of a deep dive into these figures, what I think about it, and is this really the new standard in road bicycle tyres? Now these Michelin tyres, they're claiming that they're the fastest tyres, and they did this test, and they're saying that there's around about 12.8 watts that are lost when you're using the Michelin tyres, while some of the other tyres are up around about 16 watts. So on the face of it, it looks like these tyres are the fastest, but what we need to take into consideration is how that test was done. Now they're claiming the weight was 50 kilos that they applied onto the weight of the tyre, and they're also saying that the pressure was 6.5 bar. So in those parameters, with that wheel drum, which they don't show any pictures of the wheel drum, so we can't really see. I don't know if it's a smooth surface, a rough surface, or it's a checkered patterned surface. I'm not sure. They're saying in those particular criteria, this appeared to be the fastest tyre. Now they also compared grip, and the grip was fairly consistent with the other brands, and they're using a protection system called the Aramid protection, and they're saying that it's not the best, but it's comparable to the other brands. So they're saying that, yeah, we're giving a similar tyre protection and we're giving a similar tyre grip, and the tyre is faster than the other brands. So that's their overall claim that they're saying from Michelin with their Power Cup tyres. Now, my question to all this is yes, there's probably some standard tests done, but is that really reflective of what is really the fastest tyres? Now, the first thing we need to consider, and this has been proven, this was proven years ago when Zip basically realised that when you run at lower pressures, especially on rough surfaces, the bicycle's faster. And the guy who found this out now works for Silka, so you can go and check out Silka, and he talks a lot about tyres. And so we know that the surface plays a massive impact on what's the fastest tyre. So let's be real, if we're riding over a rough surface, if the tyre's got more volume and it's running at a lower pressure, then it's going to be faster at a tyre that's skinnier with a higher pressure. And of course those parameters of those different tyres and the material they've used to make those tyres in those realms are going to have some small difference. But generally the surface has a massive effect on the rolling resistance. So this makes me question, what if it wasn't 6.5 bar? What if it was 6 bar? What if it was 7 bar? What if we had an 80 kilo rider and not a 50 kilo rider? Would that change the results of the test? And potentially the answer to that is yes. So I think that when we look at these type of tests, I would like to see them done in a more realistic way, done on different types of surfaces, and also done with different weights and different pressures, so then we can get a more rounded view of how these tyres are going to perform, and what might be a faster tyre for a lighter rider may actually be a different, or it might be a different type of tyre that's faster for someone who's 80 kilos. Now the tyres come in 3 different types of tyres, these new Michelin Power Cups, and they come in for your normal clincher tyre, then there's your tubeless tyre, and then there's tubular. And what's kind of a bit strange is the tubular tyre has a higher Fred per inch, it's 160, whilst the other 2 tyres are 120. I'm not too sure why that is. It might be something to do with maintaining the strength in the material, because it's not fully enclosed. You have to put some type of material into the sidewalls, especially for the tubeless, to stop that tyre stretching in any way, because I've talked about this before. You can't just rely on the hook to hold it on the rim. You need to stop the tyre, especially the sidewalls, from expanding, so the actual clincher part of the tyre doesn't roll off, because there is no tube inside applying a physical membrane pressure to those hooks. So the design of a tubeless, making a tubeless tyre is slightly different to a clincher. The manufacturers need to consider that the sidewalls and the materials in the tyre, they need to be made so that tyre cannot stretch, because that's what holds it on the rim. It's not just the hooks. And that might be to do with why the threads per inch are lower on the clincher and tubeless tyre compared to the tubular tyre. Now, just talking about puncture protection, the technology that Michelin are using is called the aramid technology, and that is pretty similar to what the other products are doing. It's a piece of material they put in to the part where the main grip or piece of tyre interfaces with the ground, and it prevents any sharp object coming into the tyre. Now, of course, if you're running tubeless, you've also got that secondary mechanism where if it's a puncture and the puncture actually does happen, that will go in and seal the hole and then coagulate and stop the air releasing from the tyre. So they're offering this technology in the tyre, and they're also offering extremely good grip, and the coefficient of grip with the material they're using is in contact with the road, and they're also offering or saying that their tyre is faster than the other leading brands on the market. Well, in conclusion, I'm a little bit skeptical of some of these tests because they don't give you any of the reference data that they give you these graphs, but you don't know how they've got the figures in these graphs. And the tests were only done at 1 set point. They may have done at 20 set points, but they picked the best one to make their product look the best. I don't know. But it does beg the question, what if the pressure was changed? What if the weight of the rider was changed? What if the surface on the drum was changed? Would you get a different result? And I would probably argue, yes, you would. That would be my conclusion. And I would like to see the companies do a bigger range of products. Well, I suppose they don't want to, because then one of the other brands may look faster at a certain pressure. Because we're not 50 kilos and we don't all run our tyres at 6.5 bar. So that's my point. If I was a guy and I'm 80 kilos, the Continental tyre might be the fastest tyre, at 25 mil with my weight on that bike on a smoother surface. And then you might go, oh, the Swalby actually performs better at 100 kilos on a rougher surface, which I normally ride on, at a lower pressure with a 30 mil tyre, because it may vary with size, it may vary with the surface, it may vary with the weight of the person. And it would be nice that we could buy our tyres that relate specifically to our riding and not to some pro that weighs 50 kilos and runs his tyres at 6.5 bar. Well, anyway, guys, at the end of the day, whether you buy any of these tyres, Swalby, Continental, Pirelli's another big one which they didn't test, and Victoria, and I run Veloflex, I don't think it's really going to make a lot of difference to how fast you go. And I think a lot of this marketing they put out there is the differences are so small that in the real world they're really immeasurable, or can be. I'm just trying to think of the word. The word is ignored, because the variance of those insignificant variations over a whole race or riding on your bike really doesn't have much of an impact on whether you're going to go faster or not. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. Leave your comments down below. What tyre do you use and what's your favourite tyre? And a lot of the times your favourite tyre is not because it's the fastest, because you just find it fits better on your rims, or you get less punctures or something like that, and you've just had less trouble with them. But it's a good point to share that down below for the community. Well, remember, guys, smash that like button, and to subscribe down below, and I'll see you next vid.